Well, from the time I was a little boy going to the IMSA GTP races, I always dreamed about racing sports cars of the highest possible speeds and technologies. And for me, the ALMS was a dream come true. Really, to get into the cars that were the fastest prototypes on Earth, for 10 years, it's just been an amazing run. And, I've got loads of great memories. I mean, when I think about when I started, my early 20s, to now, being in my mid-30s, I've grown up with this series in my life, and the team has evolved during this span. And, it's really like closing the chapter on a great part of your life. But, obviously we've got to look forward to the future as well. And, I think that IMSA now being back together with a united schedule is just, very, very, interesting and positive. But yeah, it's a time for reflection, for sure. It's the end of an era for us, and it's been a great one. I mean, you think back to some of the great memories. I mean, for me, racing against the Audis, during the mid-2000s with the MG Lolas, absolutely just fantastic competition. I'd say the high watermark in terms of the depth of the field was in sort of the 2007, 8, 9 range. I mean, we had some phenomenal competition with some great IndyCar teams and F1 guys coming in. The technology was through the roof. We were in a tire war. I mean, the development, the fun I've had with Michelin and Dunlop developing tires, the engine work, developing new turbo technology with our Mazda in the last 5 seasons has just been so much fun. It's always been an evolving story, and that's what's been so exciting, is that you feel like you're part of something that's a living organism, and the competition in that backdrop is so exciting because the fortunes can change one week to the next, and the freedom, the innovation, and just the buzz was unsurpassed, and I'm really hopeful that can continue because, when you go to the races, you go to Petit in a couple of weeks, there's going to be 80 to 100,000 people there, and I think that speaks volumes probably more than anything I can say about what Don Panos and the series achieved, and really giving the fans what they want. And I'm a fan first and foremost, and I grew up watching IMSA GTP, and to me, ALMS was always where I wanted to be, and I've really loved it, and I've really been a privilege to do it. Well, I mean, you've obviously got to start with James Weaver and Butch Leitzinger. They've kind of were our core nucleus for so long, and I grew up with those guys as our mainstays. And Andy Wallace obviously took me under his wing, and I just tucked in under those guys and sort of downloaded everything I could from them. And to be around those kind of people, just as characters and human beings, was just amazing. But they're just great competitors. They're fast, they were great on the equipment, good with the team. For me, they set the template for what I wanted to be. And obviously, you got to look at Elliott Forbes Robinson, who was our first ALMS champion at the ripe age of 57. And, Elliott, kicked me off in my career, and I just look at these guys, and they're icons in the sport. And we've been so fortunate to have these gentlemen with us, and obviously, I can't speak about the ALMS without talking about my dear friend, my brother, Guy Smith. Total icon, wonderful human being, and we've just had a great run together, and I expect that to continue in the future. I think absolutely. When you look at the schedule and you see Daytona, Sebring, the Glen, Indy, Petit Le Mans, and all of the really classic tracks, you'd have to say it's a positive move forward for the sport. Everybody's coming back together. It gives us more power in the marketplace for TV and sponsorship deals. We're not going to be competing as 2 series. I think that the Civil War, is probably too harsh a way to put it, but, at the end of the day, sports car racing fans, generally dig the same things, and to have it all under one umbrella again is fantastic. Clearly, the implementation of 2 disparate philosophies is a challenge they're facing right now, and we're watching that with interest. And I think from us, we're trying to be judicious with our planning, be strategic and long-term in our views. And but I think when you look at Dyson Racing's history and you look at where we've been over time, I think that's a pretty good indication of where we'd like to stay. And I'm just hopeful that the implementation can go well, and we'll be there and competing.